Anyway, and also we got one of the councilmen up in the Belfry today. So, do we have bats in the Belfry tonight at 11? Is it that dangerous to change light bulbs up there? Is it a slow news day? What's going on here? Are we trying to find things that might not work? I'm talking about council. I mean, there's some dangerous jobs out there. Anyone who climbs a tree or anyone who, to take down a branch during an ice storm, or anybody that works on a wire for National Grid, that's a dangerous job. You got to know what you're doing. We have to make sure that a city worker doesn't fall down the inside of a staple, a church that's been there for how many years now? I mean, I know they didn't have electricity in 1891. By the way, how did they do that? Did they even have a clock before the days of electricity? Oh, whatever. Anyway, well, actually, we did have electricity, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, without the backlit, what was there before it? I guess you couldn't see it at night. Whatever. Anyway, that story is on Newzjunky. It's been a concern. Also, the church themselves said that, by using their steeple, which of course is the city clock tower, the pastor there, otherwise known as not Jeff Smith, the councilman, but the reverend over there at the First Baptist Church, feels a little bit doesn't feel good about the fact that what he's looking at is, yes, we're promoting St. Patrick's Day, but he seems to believe that you're using a church to promote alcohol. Is that right? Is that true? He says he's not Irish rather, and he wants partygoers to have fun. But is he right by saying that when you reflect on St. Patrick's as a holiday, that automatically, again, I'm throwing words out myself there, that you automatically assume you're doing to glorify alcohol use or consumption? It's an interesting approach. All this time, a lot of people fought to get it done, and all along, the pastor himself said, no, I don't want this done. This makes us look like we're pushing alcohol. That's what was on the report today on Newzjunky. What's that now? And by the way, I will agree with the pastor. I do understand his point of view. Let me just share this with you, because now that I just put the Italians down.
Yeah, but St. Patrick.
It's he was.
It's a holy day of our.
No, listen. Christmas is about Jesus Christ. Does anyone pay attention to that anymore? It's Santa Claus and Macy's, and for that matter, day after sales. That's all it is. It's the same thing with St. Patrick's. No one gives a crap about St. Patrick's.
Right.
It's the rite of ritual. It's the first big holiday of the year. It's typically celebrated locally on a weekend. This year it happens to land on the same day. It's the first opportunity to get out of the house, and because it's linked to the Irish heritage, it's the time to get really drunk.
Yeah.
And I agree with him. I don't think they should, I don't think it would be right to say no green lights, but he's making a statement. And I'm glad he did.
Well,
because he's right.
My grandfather used to say,
Good. Talk up, my friend.
My grandfather used to say, somebody would say, "Oh, are you Irish?" And he'd go, "Well, who that would want to be?"
Right, and that's a typical Irish statement. You would talk to Irish people back in the days in the slums in the west side of New York, and no matter how poor they were, how many teeth were falling out of their heads, how many times they cracked their wives over the face that day, they were still always proud to be Irish.
Yeah.
I don't get that, Dan. I don't get it at all. I'm 100% Irish, and you know what? Sometimes I don't like to admit that.
Yeah.
You can't get any more Irish than me, other than, of course, Sean Hennessy, who can actually sing Irish songs. I don't sing them. Because every other word is either fight, drink, or fight.
Yeah.
The Irish drink the saddest thing of all, and then we drink.
Remember, whenever you find 4 Irishmen, you'll find a 5th.
How so? Oh, yeah, fifth of scotch, you mean, or whiskey?
Yeah.
I like that.
All right, Glenn.
Thanks, Dan. Thank you very much. There's a lot of good things to say about the Irish, of course. The artists, the gorgeous blonde hair, the redheads, the gorgeous girls, the storytellers. But this alcohol thing really has blemished them. But having said that, you look at the two denominations in town. You look at the Irish Fest, and you look at Bravo Fest, which has been struggling in recent years. Geez, I just slipped into a Joe Namath voice there. They've been struggling as of lately. I could care less what they're doing if the Jets are struggling. I like to kiss you. Remember that on Monday Night Football a couple of years ago? They're struggling. I didn't know struggling had 3 syllables, but when Joe Namath says it, it's actually got 3 syllables. Struggling. The Watertown Irish Fest, first of all, is well organized. And I think they've lost, over the generations, I think the Italians have lost a little bit with respect to the Bravo Italiano. This is not a secret, by the way. But I think the main element, which, again, Sean and those guys have done an incredible job over the years, and they continue to do so. And this recent thing with the clock just got a lot of publicity and more attention. And that's all good when it's all said and done. And with Joe Butler being there with his child today, looking to see the safety, that's just a follow-up. That's all good. It's all good. But a good reason why the Irish Fest is so successful, especially up here, is because we do have that background. We do have that culture. But it is the time of year that is so profoundly different. You know, really, say what you want about Martin Luther King Day, say what you want about Valentine's Day. Those are not the big holidays like Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. It's been, 2.5 months since we've celebrated those big, the Christmas season. And now we've went through winter. Granted, it was a mild winter to say the least. We all know that. But now we're into, spring is in the air, and now the Irish Fest shows up. It's at the State Office Building. People get out of their house. Cabin fever is over, and this is the first big event. And cabin fever, spring, the separation between, last fall and Christmas and crappy weather, of course we're going to drink like idiots. That's just the way it is. And I think that over the years, since St. Patrick's Day was invented, has really lent itself to the environment of partying. Because we haven't partied since Christmas and New Year's, but now we have the right to party again. If Columbus Day celebration was in March, I would say somehow or other through culture things would have changed. But since the Italians are not synonymous with getting drunk, the dynamics probably wouldn't have worked. But I still think there would have been a greater success story with respects to a Columbus Day this time of year as opposed to October, when people are pretty much back in school, back in the thick of things, and they're really not going to celebrate that holiday because it really doesn't have a cultural bearing like St. Patrick's Day does. So I think that, the timing and the tradition of, of course, drinking as much as the Irish do and their reputation, and unfortunately that besmirches the whole Irish tradition. I understand that. Not entirely, not even close, but it is there. It's that 800-pound gorilla in the room. But I really think it's because of the time of year, and the fact is that people just want to get out of their houses and have a good time. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. You just got to do it responsibly. Let's go to the phones and see who's there. Hi, you're on the air.